You're listening to The Heart of You on Paris Underground Radio. For more great content, please join us on Patreon.
Hello, my name is Annette Deleu, and you are listening to The Heart of You, where we explore tools and modalities for your soul discovery. You will not only improve your relationship to yourself, but also your relationship with others on a spiritual, emotional, and physical level. Are you ready to discover who you truly are? Let's get started. Today's topic is one that I thought I would have covered by now, but we've had so many amazing different topics that we're finally just getting to cord cutting for episode 52. Energetic cords are a lot like taking your own personal electrical plug and plugging it in to someone else. We're constantly doing this. We do this all the time. And especially with family members, loved ones, people that we are close to. When you are plugging in to another person's energy, so if you can imagine taking a cord that is attached to your body and plugging it into another person, you're inevitably going to get sort of a mixture of their energy and yours. And that's not always a good thing. That can be something that can actually make you feel emotions or other things that aren't yours. Now, we talked about early on in this podcast about energy clearing. And energy clearing is a very important practice for every light worker and every single person that is on a spiritual journey. What happens when you have cords attached is they are much stronger than your everyday average coming across somebody on a particular day and you absorb their energy or their energy sort of hangs out in your energetic field. This is a much more solid connection of energy. When you have this type of connection, you really do want to sever those connections. That might sound a little scary, like maybe you're connecting to your parents and you don't want to cut off that connection to them. This type of connection is not the heart connection. So when you know you're connected through the heart, that is a completely different story. These are energetic connections that are usually rooted in fear, worry, guilt, all of those kinds of sort of lower energies. There was a time when I had a reading from somebody early on. This is before I had any sort of inkling about my energy or souls or anything like that. And she had told me that I had an energetic cord that was very, very thick and wrapped around my neck. And it was from my mother. And it was something that was so old because it had been growing and growing and growing since I was a child. My mom definitely has this worry energy going on. So that energetic cord was sort of the buildup of all of the worry that she has had over the course of her being my mom. And in order to be able to clear that energetic cord, you need to be able to sort of understand that it's there, first of all. Then you need to be able to then remove it and sever that connection. What does that mean exactly? Does that mean that I'm severing the connection with my mother? Again, it's not. What it's doing is it's severing that energy, that worry energy that she is sending my way. When it comes to your parents, a lot of times parents have worry. That's just something natural that parents have. And when that is being attached to the child, it is then affecting their energy when it is completely unnecessary and doesn't need to be there. That is just one example of an energetic cord being attached to someone from somebody else. Now, how do you understand or know that these cords are attached to you? Well, you can either do a brief meditation, which I will take you through that meditation at the end of this episode. You can go through this meditation and sort of really try to identify the places in which you have these cords. Or you can also go to a professional. You can book a session with me. We can take a look at these cords that you have and start severing that energy. And not all cords are created equal either. You may have a few energetic cords still in your field from an ex-spouse or somebody you were friends with a long time ago that you're no longer friends with, you might still be energetically connected to these people. In which case, if you have no soul contract with them, or if your soul contract is completed and finished, if you have no more vows you need to clear with this person, so you have nothing left that you need to accomplish with this person in this lifetime, but yet their energy still pops up in your field over and over and over again, then it might be time to take a look at whether or not those cords are attached to you still. And oftentimes when that happens, they're just sort of residual, and you can cut those cords and they will be gone for good. The challenge with cord cutting is when you still have a relationship with somebody and they attach those energetic cords to you, or you attach those cords to them. And it's an ongoing process. It's something that's happening on a regular basis. So that is where, when you start diving into your shadow, into your relationship, start doing the work on yourself, that's where you can mitigate reattaching those cords to another person and vice versa. In the meantime, while you're doing that work, you can do cord cutting every so often in order to make sure that your energy field is clear while you're doing this work. Now, if you don't do the work to try to sort of not only repair the relationship or show up in love, show up in that beautiful, divinely, unconditionally loving energy, if you're not able to do that work, or you're not ready to do that work, then those cords are just going to consistently keep on reattaching themselves. There are times in which cord cutting can be incredibly beneficial, and there are times when it's not necessary. There are times when you have the ability to cut these cords, and then there are also times when it's almost futile to even bother cutting the cords, because then they are immediately reattached after you have cleared them. Now, this is exactly what I'm talking about in terms of being able to do the work that you need to do to clear any sort of guilt, any shame, any jealousy or resentment, or any lack of forgiveness that you might have towards another person. Now, you obviously cannot control something that somebody else is doing and how they're feeling towards you. But what you can do is work on your own energetic field to make it strong. And then once you have worked on your own energetic field, clearing those cords, then you are able to then prevent other cords from being reattached, because you have a much more solid structure in your energetic field. And then you can use some of those tools that we talked about earlier in this podcast, where you can put up your bubble of protection and then be assured that no other cords will be attached to you. The other thing I wanted to mention as well is that when you have cords that are attached, they are mainly attached in the human realm. So they are not necessarily attached when you cross over. So for example, if I still had cords attached to me from somebody who is in my experience now, and they crossed over, those cords would then be automatically severed. The other thing I wanted to mention about cord cutting as well, and this is something that is incredibly popular to talk about in terms of the twin flame journey, you cannot cut the cord between you and your twin flame. That is something that is actually completely different. It's not an energetic cord like any of the cords that we're talking about today. It is in fact almost like the cord that actually ties your soul to your body. That silver cord that you know keeps you in this body and incarnated. And then once you cross over, that silver cord is severed, and then you're able to then cross over. The connection between twin flames is actually very similar to that. So that's why you have that very strong bond, that strong connection, is because of that particular cord. Now, the reason why I'm saying it's a popular thing that people talk about, it's because a lot of people don't want to stay on the twin flame journey because it's difficult. It's incredibly hard. And, they want to cut their cord between them and their twin. And this is not something that we can do. Now, can it be done? It can be done, but it has to be agreed upon by your higher self and your twin's higher self. So not your human selves, but your higher selves. So that's just a little side note in terms of how this works when it comes to twin flames, because I wanted to make sure there was no confusion about that particular cord cutting. When that situation comes about where the two sets of people in the twin flame journey decide to cut the cord, their higher selves have decided to cut the cord, that will be done energetically on a soul level, and the humans probably wouldn't even be aware of it until they realize that the energy isn't there anymore. We all have moments where we kind of feel stuck in our spiritual journey. For that reason, I have created a 2-day soul discovery workshop where we really start to tap in to those gifts that you have, discover those beautiful spiritual gifts. We access the Akashic records. We talk about how you can really understand and listen to your intuition and your guides. We do group work where you can practice these skills with others in a beautiful, divinely guided environment. If you would like to take part in this incredible healing work, I recommend that you head to my website and go to the store, and you can sign up for this personalized 2-day workshop in my apartment in Paris, right here in Paris. You can join me for 2 full days, and we are going to explore everything that you need to know about your soul. That is infinitesoullove.com/store. The next one is taking place April 15th and 16th, 2023.
Are you looking for a new book to read? Because I know I always am. Head to Storytime in Paris on Paris Underground Radio with your host, Jennifer Garrity, as she interviews fascinating authors that have a French connection.
We will be right back with The Heart of You after a word from our sponsors. Welcome back to The Heart of You on Paris Underground Radio. If you would like to get started and do this meditation to cut any cords that you have in your energetic field at this time, I recommend that you stop whatever you're doing at the moment if you can. Please do not do this if you're driving or doing something rigorous like biking or anything like that. Make sure you're sitting very comfortably with your feet firmly planted on the floor. And I would like you to start off with 3 deep breaths. So inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. I would like you to start by imagining a beautiful bright light about 6 feet or 2 meters above your head. And imagine that light is shining down, 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 down until it reaches your crown chakra, which is at the very top of your head. And imagine this light is going to move through your body from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes. And as we move this light down your entire body, I want you to make note of anything your intuition is telling you. So if it's telling you that you have something in your right shoulder or in your left hip, just make note of those places in your mind as you're doing the scan. So I'm going to guide you through the light scan, and as I'm guiding you through this, just make note of those places where your intuition is giving you a little heads up. Also, you might feel some sort of sensation in your body as that light is moving through your body. So if you're feeling anything that feels stuck or blocked, or if you're feeling any sort of pressure anywhere, any sort of pain, that might be an indication of where one of your energetic cords are. So let's move that light down your forehead, the back of your head, down to your third eye, over your nose, your lips, your chin, the back of your head, and the nape of your neck. Setting the intention that any and all cords that are attached to you that do not belong to you are now going to be revealed to you. And allow that light to move down to your neck, your shoulders, to your upper back and your chest, to your arms, down to your elbows, into your heart space, to your mid-back and your spine, down to your solar plexus, all of your internal organs. We would like to ask our angelic team, Saint Germain with his violet flame, and Kuan Yin, to bring any sort of healing and illumination for any cords that might be attached to the auric field or to the body. Let them be illuminated now. And allow that beautiful light to move down through your torso, down to your sacral chakra, to your hips and your lower back, down your thighs, past the elbows, down to the wrists, all the way to the ends of your fingertips, making note particularly of the palms of your hands. Ask yourself, do I have any cords that I have attached to others? And I would like you to set the intention that you are going to retract any and all cords that you have attached to anyone else over the course of the history of your existence on this planet in this incarnation. You can simply say, I relinquish any and all cords, any and all energetic cords from anyone who I sought to connect to through lower energies. I retract any and all cords to be returned to me into my own energy. And allow that beautiful light to shine all the way through to your knees, your calves, illuminating any places where your auric field, any place energetically on your body that needs to be healed. And move that light down to your ankles, all the way down to your toes. Identify all of the places where you were given a little heads up by your intuition about any cords that were attached to you from somebody else. Direct your attention to that first cord that you recognized. Identify where that cord is coming from, the first name that comes to your mind right now. That's the name. That is the person who has attached that cord to you. And we're going to ask for that cord to be removed, to be pulled out like a plug. And that energy, all of that energy, to be returned back to the person who sent you that cord. We're going to ask Saint Germain with his violet flame to come forward and clean up any psychic debris surrounding this energetic cord. And we're going to ask Kuan Yin to come forward and seal the place where this cord was attached with divine light, with light of empowerment, and with light of strength. It is done. If you have any other cords in your auric field on your body that you identified during this meditation, I would like you to go to the next one and go through the same process. Connect to that cord where it is in your body. Ask where that cord is coming from, who placed that cord there. The first name that comes to your mind now, that is that name. That is that person. Ask for that cord to be removed from your body, from your auric field. And ask Saint Germain with his violet flame, or any other ascended master you choose to work with, to be able to come through and clear all of the psychic debris from these energetic connections. And allow that beautiful divine light from Kuan Yin to seal that space with strength, love, and divine light. And move forward and do this with all of the rest of the cords that you have come across. I will give you a couple of moments to do that. The cord cutting is now completed. You can take a deep breath and imagine on the exhale releasing any of the energy that isn't yours, any energy that does not belong to you. I would like you to inhale and exhale. Thank you for joining me in this meditation. This type of clearing that you can do for yourself is really beautiful work to be able to help clarify the energy and the emotions that you experience day to day. Let me know your experiences after you do this work. I would love to hear from you. If you feel like you had some stubborn cords that were not quite dislodging, they weren't being returned back to the person who gave it to you, feel free to contact me at infinitesoullove.com. You can schedule a session there. I don't have sessions specifically for cord cutting, but you can schedule either an Akashic session with me or an angel reading session. And basically, the guides are going to tell me exactly what needs to be done in terms of the energy healing. So we will not only do that, but then we can dive into lots of other things that you may need to clear from your current lifetime or any past lifetimes. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have an amazing day and never stop exploring your soul, because it is the most important relationship you will ever have.
This episode of The Heart of You was produced by Jennifer Garrity for Paris Underground Radio. For more great content, please join us on Patreon.